So we're going to start off chariot stance, which is where our hands and our feet are together, and we're going to bow kunye. This is just how we're going to bow to begin the class, and we're going to bow out at the end of the class. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with a warm-up. I want you to put your hands on your hips, and we're going to circle our head. We're just going to do this a few times. We're trying to stretch the muscles in our neck and our back, just so we can start moving around without feeling any pain. Now we're going to put our hands off to the side, and we're just going to do some trunk twists. Try to turn all the way, but keep your feet stationary. I don't want you pivoting too much. I want you to have a little bit of a twist because your hips are stopping, but your arms are continuing to carry the momentum. Good. From here, we're going to take our hands on our hips, and we're going to just turn our hips to the side. From side to side. Again, my feet are staying pointed towards the front. That way I do get a little bit of a stretch as I go from one side to the other. It should be stretching your hip flexor muscles. Good. From here, let's go ahead and put our knees together, and we're going to circle just a little bit. Getting those joints warmed up. Should be feeling warming on your knees and your ankles. Good. Next, we're going to go to what is called the socket stretch. So I'm going to put my hand on my hip, and I'm going to lean back. Notice my back toes are facing that way, and my front toes are facing towards the front. I'm pushing down, and I'm leaning back. You should be feeling a stretch right here on the inner portion of your leg. Good. Lean back as much as you can. If you can't lean back too much, don't worry about it. We're working on it. Try to go farther apart with your legs if you can. If not, if you have to be up here, that's no problem either. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to turn our back foot so that our heel is up. Again, I'm going to have my hand on my hip. My other hand is right here on my knee. I'm trying to lean back. I should be feeling this right at the top of my quads and right on my hip. Lean back as much as you can. If you start to feel that you're falling over, go ahead and you can put your hand on the ground and just try to focus on pushing your hip down towards the ground. From here, if you haven't already, go ahead and put your hand on the ground. My back foot, notice the top of my foot is going to go down. I drop my knee down, and I'm going to push my hip towards the ground while also keeping my body up with my arms straightened. And I'm trying to stretch right here on my side and part of my glutes. And then with this part, I'm going to push my knee outwards so that I feel it on my glutes on my other leg. We'll hold this for a few more seconds. Good. Now we're going to go and we're going to do the same thing that we just did, all to the other side. So we're going back to our socket stretch. From here, trying to bring my chest up and push my hip down towards the ground as much as you can. Good. If you need to bounce a little bit, that's fine. I don't mind that, especially when you're still warming up. The bounce will make it a little bit easier for you. But now we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn the back foot so that my heel is up off the ground and I'm pushing my hip down. Again, if you need to catch your balance, you can put your hand, your fist on the ground, whatever, that way you don't fall over. That's no problem. Hold this for a few more seconds. Make sure to keep your back knee off the ground, though. We don't want to put it on the ground yet. But now go ahead and place your hand on the ground. Turn so that the top of your foot is right. Turn so that the top of your foot is right on the ground. Now we're going to drop our knee and we're going to pivot towards the back. Again, we're trying to stretch right in here. And then my other hand is going to be pushing my knee outwards or towards my bottom foot. That way I feel a stretch right here in my glutes. Good. Now what we're going to do, we're going to start just like this, and I'm going to pick a side, and I'm going to sit down onto that foot. You can have your foot flat on the ground, or you can go up onto the ball of your foot. Either way is fine. I'm going to use my other hand to post, and I'm reaching towards my toes. This time I'm trying to get a nice stretch in my hamstrings. If you can, try to get your head closer to your knee while still trying to maintain a straight back. And now we're going to do the same thing to the other side. So I'm going to put my hands in the front, and I'm just going to switch sides, just like this. So now I should be feeling the stretch right here in my hamstrings, and I'm going to reach for my toes. Good. From here, I want you to come up, feet kind of far apart, and I want you to put your arms on the inside, or if you can use your elbows. And we're trying to push our knees apart, almost kind of like we're doing the splits, but we're standing right now. So we're just going to push apart. You can use your elbows, is what I like to do. But if you can't quite get that yet, you can go ahead and just put your palms on the inside of your knees and push towards the outside. But from here, we're going to do my favorite thing. We're going to go all the way down into our splits. So we're doing our center splits right now. We're going to have our hands right in front of us. Don't worry if you can't go all the way down. If you can only go down here or even up here, we're trying to make progress. This is our first class, guys, so we're working towards getting to the splits. If you can't do it yet, don't worry about it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to stick our left hand over our left leg, and sometimes you have to kind of come up a little bit and then drop back down, and that's no problem either. So now my left toes are pointed straight up to the sky. My right toes are pointed outwards. If you're already kind of flexible, you can start to lean forward or lean back. If you're not there yet, don't worry about it. Just go as much as you can. The biggest thing is if you can't go yet, all the way down yet, I see some people, they start to bring this knee down and they kind of start to cheat. I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to cheat yourself. Keep those legs straight. Now we're going to go ahead. We're going to go back to the center, and then we're going to go to the other side. So now my right toes are facing up, my right hand's on the right side of it, and I'm going to bring all the way down as low as I can. I'm trying to keep my back leg straight and my front leg straight. Again, if you can, start leaning forward, leaning back, all the way around. This will help you get a deeper split. And go ahead and stand up. Hands on your hips. And we're going to make a big circle. This should feel good after you've done your splits, in case they tightened up a little bit while you were stretching. And we're going to go back to that one that we did earlier, where our feet are apart, and we're just turning our hips. You can bend your knees here to make the hip turn a little bit more. That's no problem. And good job on that warm-up. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to start off doing our front snap kicks. So we're going to start off in let's go to cherry up first. So our hands and feet are together. We're going to go to our jumbe. So our jumbe is our ready stance. My foot steps out as my hands come up and then down in front of my belt. But now we're going to step back into our fighting stance. So our hands are going to come up right to our face, and our back foot is going to be just a little bit off the ground. I don't want it planted, and our center of our weight is right in the center. First thing we're going to do is we're going to practice reaching our knees forward. So we're going to end up doing the entire front snap kick, which is going to look just like that. But we're going to do just the first part first. So we're going to reach with our knees. Instead of just bringing it right up to my chest, I want you to try to push it out and push your hips forward. And we're going to bring it back. We're going to do this a few times on each side. I want you to start off using your right leg and do this along with me. I'm going to be counting in Korean, so you're going to hear that. Hana, bring it all the way back. Doyu, all the way out and back. Set, out and back. Try to lean back a little bit as you push your hips forward. Net, Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Is good. You know, when you're doing this, you should feel a little bit of a stretch right in here. Up. Yeah. Good job on that. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to switch our feet. Our hands are still up. And we're going to do the same thing with our back leg, which is now our left leg. And again, we're trying to reach as far as we can forward. Set. Net. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Is good. You know. Up. Yo. Cool part about our front snap kick, if we practice it like this, we're also practicing knees. So if somebody was to come in and we weren't able to fully extend, we're still getting a good knee in prior to the extension. So if they do enter into a closer space, they'll catch a knee instead of the full kick. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to go with our right foot to the back again, and we're going to practice our entire front snap kick. So it's going to look just like this. I'm going to go forward, kick out, bring it back, and down. When I'm doing this, I'm kicking this one with the instep of the foot. So this is primarily going to be targeting to the groin, or if my opponent is bent over, maybe I just kicked him in the groin, now they're slightly bent over, I can use this to kick to the head as well. So we're going to do our entire kick now. Do it along with me. And notice how I'm not going too fast. I want to have a nice controlled kick. Set. Net. You notice it might be a little bit more difficult when we do it slow, but that's all right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Is good. Make sure you breathe out with each kick. You know. Up. My hands are staying in front. I don't want to bring them all the way back behind me. Yo. Good. Now we're going to go ahead and switch feet. We're going to do the same thing with our other leg. Again, we're reaching forward, kicking out, and bringing it back. And set. Notice how I kick out and I bring it back before I set it down. I don't want you to kick with the straight leg, bring it down. I want you to kick, bring it back, and then down. Net. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Is good. You know. Up. Yeah. Good. That was our front snap kick. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to our low block. When we do our low block, I want you guys to use your left hand and put it on top of your right shoulder. I'm using my right hand right now just so I'm mirroring what you are doing. So hand's going to come on top, and we're going to break this down into 2 counts. So this is going to be